Welcome everybody to our group call for the 23rd of February. Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend and a really successful trading week behind you. So we're going to be looking at a few different things on today's call. So we're going to first cover our performance from last week. So thank you to all the guys sharing in the different open Discord chats, not only on your personal performance of your own automated strategies or your own templates that you ran, but also, those as part of the game plan. So, that was, really kind of you to share that. So please continue doing that. It's so important to growing our community, sharing results, staying accountable. So, that is really, really appreciated. Oh, look, my shirt matches the background. And also, we're going to have on this call, we're going to have, members from our Jumpstart program. So we're going to cover a bit more of that too in a moment. And also there's been some really good activity in our Discord chat with regards to, different approaches that are in play. So, I really appreciate the work being put into there, especially there's Christopher, there's Bruce, there's a couple of guys in there that are really sharing and contributing to this community, and it's really important. So, I really appreciate that effort that you guys are putting in. And, I'm excited to see where you guys are actually going to take that. So I wanted to quickly, before we jump into all our updates, I wanted to go into a little bit of detail regarding our Jumpstart program. So, we've just reached the end of week 2 of our Jumpstart program. And this is what we covered in week 2. So in week 2, we covered, basically our, how to set up the system again. So, obviously updating to a new assembly. We went into more of the indicators, so in-depth training and understanding of the different indicators that make up the system. And then right at the end of the week, we covered the shadow training indicator. And then I actually gave, traders the go ahead to basically enter trades based on the shadow trading indicator. So to set the scene, in our Jumpstart program week 1, we start off by setting up NinjaTrader and the DTB tools. Okay, and then we spend the entire week just looking at charts with indicators attached. There's no live trading or acting on the signals of the various indicators, but just watching how they plot signals. Now, a good student would spend at least an hour or 2 watching each chart, seeing how signals form and generate in real time. He'll be taking notes for future reference. And he'll be doing this with every tool we covered, and especially those that are foundational to the DTB system. I mean, the better you understand each tool individually, the better you will be at combining multiple tools. And this is especially important when we start looking at the signal charts. Now, this is a good time to stop and say a word to those who did not follow the no trading rule of week 1. So if you were compelled to enter trades, even in sim, this is basically a strong recommendation to go and repeat week 1 and 2 of the program. You cannot live trade or even practice on tools you only just started learning. There's no system in place yet to identify signals, and especially when a combination is needed to strengthen signals. So just entering trades at this stage is not from a place of understanding, but from a place of compulsion. And 99% of unsuccessful traders are compulsive in the sense that that if they're in front of a chart, they need to trade. And unfortunately, that is the definition of a compulsive gambler. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but see if this resonates with you. If you are not successful in your trading, I can almost guarantee you have never sat for a week in front of charts and resisted the urge to trade. You've not taken the time to document what the price and indicators are telling you, so that you can fully resonate with the signals. Am I right or am I right? Now, as a caveat to that, we ended week 2. we ended week 2 with the shadow trading indicator. And I asked individuals to load it up on a chart and enter signals, knowing full well that the level of understanding is still quite low. And this experiment just tells me where each and every one of the traders are. What did you do when given the go-ahead to enter positions? Because remember, at this stage, the emotional part of you comes out. And it's how you act that depends where you are as a trader. Mentally, your tendencies. Are you acting on all arrows? Are you entering multiple contracts on many arrows? What sort of stops and targets did you use, if any? Were they wide or small? Or did you selectively trade the arrows, maybe 1 out of 4, and had a decent risk to reward ratio? See, all these things are important because it tells you where you need to pay special attention. What is consciously entering your mind when you're about to enter positions, how you react to taking trades, and how they are managed. All of this tells you what level you are at and provides a good base for you to work off. And this is what we're going to really focus in and deep dive in work 3. So the foundational core of the Jumpstart program is to break the cycle of losing. And you can only do that if you stop live trading. You work with a proper system, stop and learn and become a student of price action. Become a student of identifying high probability trades. And then you will approach your trading from a place of understanding rather than compulsion. And the DTB system is the only system of its kind that not only breaks the cycle of inconsistency, but then combines the very best tools to lay out the price in an easy to understand way. And to achieve that knowledge of being able to do so, you first need to be a student. Then you can become a master with practice. There's this old saying, every master was once a disaster. None of us became good at anything without being a good student first. So it's my firm belief that once individuals understand the DTB system on a deeper level, there are no limits to what you can achieve. Now, the problem with most of these funding companies, they give you an account to qualify on, and they say you need to trade every week. Like, here's your account, but make sure you trade it this week. So basically, they are setting you up for compulsion, and they rely on that to keep selling new accounts as people fail. What would be a really ethical practice would be to say, here is your trading account. You have paid for the month ahead. Take a week or 2 to fine tune your system. No, it's like, here's your account. You can qualify in 5 days, trade every week. Now, some traders do have a system in place for them to enter high probability trades and can start trading right away, but the majority would not. And therein lies the problem. Once they start trading, they do not stop. It's like straight into battle with their underpants on. So identify if that is you. And if you have to, do the very minimum requirement to stay active for the week and then get to learn the system we have here. So the DTB Jumpstart program is designed to set you up, break the cycle of inconsistency, determine where you're at, and lead you on a path to mastering futures trading because you have the right tools and guidance needed to trade well consistently. So those who are in the program, take to heart what I just laid out and approach this very special program as a good student. That is how you will come out of it well prepared for your trading journey. So you guys can sign off here and get back to your training. Okay, so and for those who have not taken up the special offer, we have a money back guarantee if the results we achieve from our strategies do not at least cover your subscription. So there's really nothing to lose here and a powerful education to gain. So visit our website to get started. Okay, so we're going to move right into our updates for the week. So, I thought I'll just cover that Jumpstart program because, it's so important for people to really grasp and understand, what we're actually covering there. And I am monitoring the group chat on our group call. So thanks for jumping on. I see you there, Christopher. Awesome. Good to have you. So we're going to jump into, some of the updates that we've done to the DTB system this week. And, the update that we're going to cover is basically, it's 2 additional filters, and you'll see them on the screen there. It says minimum volume per bar within signal and minimum volume threshold across all bars in signal. Okay, so basically what that means is that what we're doing here is we're evaluating the signal being generated and putting it up against volume analysis to determine which signals to act on. So basically, it's an additional filter to try pick out the highest probability trades that fit within a specified criteria. And this is within the strategy itself and not from the indicator. So we'll see if that approach is better, or should we combine the logic within the indicator to center the strategy. So I'm evaluating that. But for right now, we'll just review what that actually looks like. So I want to switch back to the screen sharing. Our signal chart has given us beautiful signals this morning, by the way, which looks really good. So going into our control center, let me just open up a new chart. And we'll just load up any of them, even NQ is fine. Okay. So strategies. So the 2 strategies that have this feature right away is going to be obviously the baseline week trader, as well as the analytical strategy 1 minis. So I've put this feature only in these 2 strategies as of right now. And depending on how we progress during the week and what we identify with this indicator or with the strategy is how, this approach will further be fine-tuned. So like as an example over here, so for all those who have done the normal optimizations this week, you've done your normal A and B settings and C settings just like before, those will still be exactly how they were. Okay, so if you had to put a value of 1 and 1 in here, what it's basically doing, it's effectively just ignoring this new condition that we put in. So don't be like, surprised if you thinking, oh my God, I have to go redo my optimizations. As long as you had these values at 1 and 1 with your existing optimizations, then it'll be exactly the same as before. So that's all fine. But if these values are adjusted, and it's pretty simple. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to add a little bit more understanding into the price action behind the signal that was generated. So what this is doing is it is evaluating all the bars that made up the specific signal. Okay, so it's looking at those bars and it's saying, okay, I want to make sure that each of those bars has at least 100 volume, as an example. Now, obviously, different times of the day, you can optimize for different values, and even this can be optimized. So you're looking to say, I want to make sure that the bars that actually generated the signal are having at least a certain amount of volume. So basically, I made a note while doing this, and the idea behind this was to, my notes are very messy. I should have went for a handwriting course first. So basically, we're trying to, here we go. So if you can't study the depth of price movement, what range did it frequent, how the guaranteed price levels, and how they, did the price return to the baseline or go to any guaranteed price levels? So, it's the struggle of price within a pattern that determines how good a result the pattern will give. So, when you're looking at chart patterns or when you're looking at, bar formation, how did the price actually get to that signal? Was it a really hard fought battle to ingrain that signal in, or did the price just touch different levels and in and out and like easy come, easy go type of thing? So, This is kind of the approach that we are looking at here. Is we're trying to see, okay, we want to make sure that the consistency of the volume of the bars that generated the signal are at least a certain value. And we also want to make sure, or we also want to check, out of all the bars that made the signal, is their volume at least 500? So you're not only evaluating individual bars, but you're also evaluating the group, the total volume of all of those bars that generated the signal. Did it at least have a volume of 500? So this is quite an interesting experiment that we're running over here. And, it's going to develop over time. And as I said, this setting is currently within the automated strategy itself. It's not from the indicator. So what's happening is, the indicator is sending signals to the automated strategy, and then the strategy is analyzing the volume of the bars that generated the signal, and then it's deciding if it's going to enter a trade or not. So you're going to find fewer trades using this because it's trying to pick out the best options. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if the approach is correct at this stage. Like I said, this is within the strategy. Should I rather be putting this code within the indicator, so the indicator is sending through the the signals in a complete form? So that's what we're going to be looking at this week and evaluating this week. It's quite an awesome update because I was doing a lot of work around price action and chart patterns and stuff around that for our Jumpstart program, and I just came up with this idea as I was actually going through that content. So that is the setting over there. So feel free to optimize and use that, and you're going to see that our if we go to our game plan for the week ahead. So you'll see on our game plan for the week ahead, if I can just bring up that slide wherever that is. I don't seem to have it on yet. That's interesting. Okay, so our game plan for the week ahead has basically got that in it. So we've got our game plan document. So if you look at our game plan document, you're going to see over here, this has been set up. Make sure you're on the 22nd of February, and just read through the notes over here. And I earlier added a note just saying, Friday is selected in the settings, but please, either completely avoid Friday trading or watch it very, or exit positions very early. Because as we discussed numerous times, Friday is like the day where all the banks and institutions are closing their positions for the week. So there's a lot of erratic and confusing trading that can happen on a Friday, especially with these specific, templates that we are working on. There are other templates that are very, very good for Fridays, and there's other strategies and approaches that are very, very good for chaotic price action, but that's not the game plan templates. Okay, so I've got a question in the Discord here from Christopher. Is there a way to get those volume values in any way so we can have some numbers to gauge against? Okay. Is there a way to get those volume values? Yeah, well, I can create prints for them. Now, the thing is, you'll be able to see them in your NinjaScript output if I activate the print. So what it'll do, it'll tell you, what the previous bar volume is on that. But another good approach that you can actually do is you can look at the chart itself. So if we go like this and we go to the indicators, and there is a indicator here that gives us the ability to look at the volume of bars. So if we go to let me just bring it up over here. If we go to candle volume, where are we? I'm looking at the wrong thing. If we go to candle volume over here and we select the specific bar, so we can go to DTB bars and we can go as a 10 and a 40. Okay, let's just see what that looks like on this chart. and just give that a second to load up. I've got a lot of days loaded on this chart because it's basically one of the game plan strategies. So possibly got too much data loaded on here for this, because it's going to be giving us, it's going to be analyzing all of that. So let me just change the data on here. So we currently have 26th of January. I might just go for, you know, 3 days and just see. I have to switch that back because I don't want to mess up our game plan. So if I switch that just to 3 trading days, and we'll see how this comes up. So give it a moment. Yeah, just taking a bit longer. I wonder if I can speed it up by just putting in 0 over here. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the indicator list and just check if everything, okay, I can't do anything yet. So this chart's got a strategy loaded on in the background and everything too. So probably not the best idea to chuck it on here like this. Come on, just load. Okay, so there it is there. So what that's basically doing is it's telling you the current volume of the bars that we are on. And that's, you know, it should be updating over there. So that's one way to look at it. But I think a better way would be to have the strategy actually, or the indicator, produce those signals, maybe even, you know, in an output window or actually on the trading chart. So that's probably not the best way to look at it, because then you're not going to be able to, you know, see it, which specific block is actually entering the trades, or which specific block is being accounted. Yeah, so definitely something I can look at. So we can do that. Now, I'm just going to go back to put this back. So our game plan for the week ahead has got our 4 templates. So switching back to our game plan document, you will see that, you know, our template 1 is an MNQ template, and this one's going to trade between 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. And you can see I've just got, you know, it hasn't got a extremely high volume trading. You know, it's fairly conservative, and we've actually used, you know, that feature within the strategy to analyze the volume. So that's in there. You'll see, you know, it hasn't got a lot of trades. So that's our first template. Our second template's also on the MNQ, but this one trades from 9:35 till 11. And this one also doesn't have a crazy high return rate, but it does have a fairly decent, you know, history to it. So that's, you know, put it in there. Our template number 3, you know, same thing over here. We've got a fairly, you know, it's basically templates that are ideal to trade on like a $50,000, you know, performance account, or, you know, funded account program. So that's what these are basically set up for. So I've reduced the bar size. As you can see, it's a 55. So what was happening last week is if you had maximum contracts in, so like, you know, the contracts last week like entered up to 7 contracts. So what happened last week is, you know, when you had like 7 contracts in and then the bar closed and those were losing, all those 7 contracts lost, and it was much higher than, you know, what a lot of people were prepared to lose. So we definitely reduced that so that when the baseline breaks and it's against you, you know, you're not going to have such a high drawdown value. And we're also looking at smaller trade sizes this week. So that's what template 3 looks like. You know, fairly conservative, a few trades, so not too bad. Template 4, we've done a similar thing over there. We have reduced the bar size to a 40-20 instead of an 80-20. And I've applied the same type of thing there. As you can see, it hasn't got a very high return. It's fairly conservative with a good accuracy rate. And that has been the historical performance. And then once you've loaded up your strategies, you've pressed the start buttons, you know, this is what it should look like. So, you know, this document is really helpful because, you know, it gives you all the instructions you need to set up your automated trading for the week. And, everything's very well documented, and you can compare your screenshots to, what the charts are saying. So it's good to this. And for our Jumpstart members, we're going to cover this in detail in week 4, because week 4, you're going to really focus on our automated trading, setting up the game plan, what to look out for. There's a few things to really pay attention to. And one of them is like, do not trade on Fridays. Like, it's an important thing, right? And, how to set it up, and, make sure you're pressing the start buttons, and make sure, those buttons are highlighted. And, check the date range. So, I mean, all of these things are, very important to understand and read through, when you are running the game plan. And the great thing is, like I said, it's on a plate here, because there's extremely, extremely clear instructions on, first of all, how to remove an old assembly, importing a new one, and, what the details are, for the game plan for the week ahead. So once people, really read this carefully, and it'll only take about 2 minutes. I mean, it's not like a long time. And then they set up their individual charts. You can literally compare as you're going along to make sure that your charts are matching what, the game plan document is. So, it's been very effective in that regard, helping people just gain some consistency. And, the sharing of the results, last week we had great results with the game plan. So if I just bring up the game plan results, we'll just bring up that. So, I think we, like for example, Alan ended off on $1,900 for the week. So, this week, what we're trying to do is, even in the game plan chat earlier, I said, let's try target $2,000 for the trading week. Let's not try and make millions. Let's just target, $2,000 for the trading week, and, see how we go from there. So, and basically pause trading. So as soon as we hit $2,000 a week, I'm going to say, hey guys, you're done for the week. And this might be Monday, might be Tuesday, might be Wednesday. But, I think that's a really great approach. I mean, if you had automated strategies that make on average, $2,000 a week, I mean, who the hell wouldn't be excited about that? So that's what we're trying to achieve over here. In the past, I had obviously weeks that made $7, $8, $9, $10, $12, $15,000. But, those were trading on my much larger account, and it's not really suitable for a lot of members who, have smaller accounts or are trading these funded account programs, because sometimes you can have, significant drawdowns. I remember having like a $12,000 drawdown at 1 week, but then I was making, $8,000 to $15,000 in the trading week. So, a lot of people cannot accommodate that. So, thanks for sharing the results. This was Friday's results. I don't know what was going on there. That's not actually right. So there might be an issue with your setup there. But generally, we had a pretty awesome week. So, thank you guys for sharing. And please remember, Fridays we definitely avoid, okay? All right. You know what? That's basically what I wanted to cover this week. So we just looked at the quick little update to that. This is a nice and short call. There's nothing really much else to cover. Again, I just want to appreciate the guys who are putting in major effort into like the different strategies, the baseline week trader. I know Christopher is very efficient with that. So, for those who want to, use that approach, or, get together and, what I would love for this group to do is, for members to set up little like trading groups, like little trading buddies, where they, they're sharing templates and they're posting their screenshots and they're sharing this. And this is what we're starting to see happen now. So, it's very exciting that, because, at the end of the day, when you're trading a system, it's always helpful to be working with other individuals, because you might be seeing different things. You might, have different ideas, but combining that all together, it kind of forms like a mastermind. I don't know if you guys have read like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that's the book that comes to mind, is, forming some kind of a mastermind behind, what you're doing. Every single thing that we do in life, if you do it with others, you become better at it. I mean, it's just obvious. So, and the same thing will be with trading. So, working together in these small little groups, find people that are committed. So, maybe there's 3 or 4 guys that are like really committed, and they're sharing between them. They, having calls between them. They're discussing how to implement the strategies. What best approaches to have. Should we be going for long targets, short targets? What specific trading hours? Optimizations for different periods. I mean, all of that can come together beautifully, and you have an absolutely powerful approach in your trading. So, I'm really excited to facilitate that type of arrangement, because we have, I'm providing the tools over here. I'm doing a lot of work on the background with the coding and the whole foundation of the system, but I'm not really spending a lot of time doing optimizations and really deep diving into all the nuances of what the strategies can do. So, it takes really committed individuals to be able to do that, and those who've got time to put aside for it. And, it is a lot of time, I must admit. So, well done to you guys, and thank you so much for your contribution. It's not only going to benefit your trading, but it's also going to help other members too. So thank you very much. Okay, guys, that's it for the week. I've covered what I need to, and Jumpstart program. I mean, for new traders, for new people to NinjaTrader, for people that are not consistent with their trading, jump into the damn Jumpstart program. I mean, what the hell are you waiting for? It is so carefully crafted to make sure that, you're going to get the very, very best out of the DTB system, and then also, be able to use that going forward and, trade consistently. Thank you guys very much. And we shall see you on the next group call next week, same time. Every single week we run these calls. We're still keeping them on YouTube for this stage. We might move off and do it more like on Zoom, more, one-on-one, or not one-on-one, like have interaction from members. So, that's going to be quite exciting going ahead. Okay, so if there was nothing else, I'll just quickly check the chat over here to see if there's any other questions that have come through. Doesn't look like it. Let's just have a quick look. Perfect. Good stuff. Okay, guys, fantastic. See you next week. Cheers.